I love you, mommy.
What is going on, you guys? This is Mike Hughes, aka The Shy Kid, and you're listening to an Everything Chicago Sports Related podcast. We're back after we just spent the last 24 hours talking about Caleb Williams and the idea. I was finally coming around. I was finally going to say, hey, listen, for the sake of argument, I'm still Team Fields all the way. For the sake of argument, I'm going to go up there and I'm going to say, I could see Caleb Williams in a Chicago Bears uniform. Maybe it's not the worst thing in the world. And immediately, not even 24 hours later, it is reported via Colin Cowherd on the Herd on FS1 that Caleb Williams and his camp and his representatives, which is his dad, do not want to be in Chicago. Now, we've already heard these rumors. We've heard them earlier on in the year, and where they weren't debunked, they also weren't proven. You know, there was a hard time trying to hear Caleb Williams and his camp openly say that they don't want to play for the Chicago Bears. We still haven't heard that. Now, Colin Cowherd is saying that he has a lot of insiders and a lot of inside information in not only the Williams family, but at USC. So there's a lot of different ways this can go. This conversation can be had tonight. Tonight, we're just breaking it down, sitting down, having a real conversation about it because it's tricky, man. I mean, listen, there's several conversations that need to be had tonight. This is the first one. This is the one I really want to talk about because I think it's important. I think it's the biggest one to me. I don't understand why this would be vocalized. You know what I mean? Like I don't understand why Caleb Williams' camp and Caleb Williams would want this out there. Now that's my biggest take out of this. Of course, Colin Cowherd isn't saying he's heard this from his camp exactly. He's saying he's heard that throughout the insiders that know everything about everything. You know, it's all he said, she said. You know, but with that being said, where there's smoke, there's fire. This isn't the first time we've heard that Caleb Williams might not want to play in Chicago. That's very important if you're Ryan Poles. And why that's important is because whether you're going to draft or intend to draft Caleb Williams or not, the biggest thing here is how are you going to get the bang for your buck with this trade when teams know that this kid doesn't want to come here anyway? We saw what happened with Eli Manning at the time, the San Diego Chargers. He told him on draft night, if you draft me, I am not coming to play for this organization. So, of course, they're not going to keep Eli Manning. The Chicago Bears are in a very similar situation right now. If, in fact, Caleb Williams doesn't want to be a Chicago Bear, it makes other teams be able to walk into Ryan Poles' office and say, I don't have to give you DJ Moore 2 first-round picks and a second. I only have to give you a couple first-round picks. I don't have to go above and beyond because I already know that Caleb doesn't want to play for you. That's where I'm really coming from with it. I think that's one of the biggest reasons why you haven't heard Caleb Williams openly say that, because it's going to be 10 times harder for Ryan Poles to make that trade and get the bank for his buck if you already know that Caleb Williams doesn't want to go there. The hardest part about last season and why we got a guy like DJ Moore from the Carolina Panthers was there was an actual opportunity that the Bears drafted CJ Stroud or Bryce Young. You know what I mean? And luckily, they probably would have drafted Bryce Young and we'd all be pissed right now. But, you know, luckily that didn't happen. We got DJ Moore and another shot at number 1. So, you know, with that being said, you know, it's interesting. It's interesting. Colin's one of those guys that, you know, take it for what it is. Take it for a rumor. Take it as a speculation. Don't read too deep into it. Several other people have already said this throughout the year. It's not like he's saying anything new. We also heard that Caleb Williams wants part ownership in the team that he goes to. So we don't know what's true. I haven't heard Caleb Williams openly say anything. And until then, until Ryan Poles, Caleb Williams, or his camp say something openly, I'm not going to take too much validity into any of it. But I think there's a lot of different conversations. There's a lot of different things that we could talk about tonight. You know, I think one of the biggest ones here is really breaking down how this affects the perspective and the persona of Caleb Williams. It's unfortunate, man. I'm gonna sit up here. I got 43 people in this live right now. Please don't come for my head because I'm not sitting here saying I'm a Caleb Williams fan. I am not in his corner. But I do think it is a very, very hard time to get won over by Bears fans when the media is painting all these different narratives about the kid. You're saying, oh, he wants to be part owner. I didn't hear him say that. Oh, he's saying he doesn't want to play in Chicago. Well, I didn't hear him say that. We're painting these stories based off of he said, she said. It's one of the biggest issues is like, let the kid speak. Let's see what he has to say. If he goes into Halas Hall and he says, hey, man, I don't want to fucking play for you. Okay, then get the fuck on. Get out of here. Skip fucking data. Pardon my language, but that's just what it is. You know what I'm saying? But if we're just going to go off of Colin Cowherd, who can't even name probably 30% of the players on the Chicago Bears currently and probably didn't watch more than one game of the Chicago Bears all year, probably never even sat down and watched a full game of the Chicago Bears this year, then why do we care what he thinks? You know what I mean? Like, that's the real thing. That's the real part of it. Now, of course, if you know me and you've been following this channel for a while, you know I'm a Justin Fields supporter. I'm still in the corner of Justin Fields. But regardless, like we talked about the other day, as long as we are winning and we are playing winning football and we are building a culture to sustain success for years to come and we build a dynasty, I don't care what happens. Whether it's Marvin Harrison Jr., Caleb Williams, Jaden Daniels, or let's not say Drake May because I'm not a fan of UNC quarterbacks. But to be completely honest, we're going to sit up here and kill a kid who hasn't even vocally said anything. It's outrageous to me. I don't think it's right. I don't think it's fair to him. I'm not sitting up here and screaming free Caleb because obviously he's made statements before. You know what I mean? Like, he's made statements before. I'm not going to sit up here and lie. But it's definitely a real conversation right now that maybe he wants to play here, maybe he doesn't. But how about we just sit on that? How about we just sit on here about like let's see, let's find out. The draft combine's coming up after the Super Bowl next week. We'll find out if Caleb Williams wants to be a Chicago Bear. We don't have to sit up here and paint these false accusations on a kid who's 21 years old. Come on, man. Like, I work in media. I work for the WNBA. I work for minor league baseball. You're not going to sit up here and try to befriend every single athlete you cover, but you also understand this is someone you work with. And to paint an image, defamation in what you're doing to him is truly disappointing if that's the case, especially from a guy like Colin. This is FS1. You know what I mean? Like, you are the host of this show. You are the face of this network, and you are putting out rumors that I haven't heard the kid openly say. That's just being real. I mean, he might know. I'm not saying he doesn't. I'm not saying he does. But I think at the end of the day, it's hard to dissect that when you say sources told me this. Who are your sources? Oh, I can't tell you. Okay. Well, Caleb Williams didn't say anything. His camp didn't say anything. We're less than 3 months away from the draft. So when is he going to go out and say something about that? You know what I mean? It's just unfortunate. So I think at the end of the day, the way we have to look at it as fans is understanding that what is, and what isn't. What we know is what we know, and what we don't is what we don't. I know that's like really simple, and that's like not a hot take whatsoever, but that's what we got. That's what we're doing. There's no other way to go about this. Excuse me. Like, we can sit up here all day and have conversations about Caleb and Justin and Drake and Jaden or Russell Wilson. We can do this all day. But we're not going to know until we know. So let's not create false narratives. Let's not create false stories and create propaganda where there's no problems. We're creating problems where no problems lie. This is not a problem for the Chicago Bears today. This is a problem for the Chicago Bears on draft night if they still have the number 1 overall pick. And that's on Ryan Poles to make that decision. At the end of the day, man, no matter what happens, I think we have to be better. We have to be better. And I see my guy Jimmy in the comments says, Cowherd is plugged in with USC. He knows. Well, Caleb doesn't go to USC anymore, though. So, you know what I mean? Like, anything can change. And I understand where you're coming from. He might know guys who know Caleb. He might know guys who are in Caleb's camp and have heard, the X's and O's of what Caleb's ideal situation is and what he wants to do, of course. But again, I could tell you today Jimmy, I know somebody at USC, and he told me that Caleb loves Chicago. What's the difference? Because neither of us are claiming our sources. Neither of us are telling us who said this, and nobody's going to get a real answer from a guy like Caleb Williams right now. So, like, I think Chicago does this beautiful thing of running out of stories, running out of content. And we're at that point in the year where we are, as Bears fans, running out of content. You know what I mean? Like, let's be real. You know, we kill Caleb Williams all year long in the media. And then you get to this point to where it's like, oh, well, we ran out of content. Justin Fields isn't playing anymore. So let's talk about how much we love Caleb Williams and how he can be the next Patrick Mahomes. But 3-4 months ago, you were saying he was having a horrible year and this, and that. I just don't get it. You know what I mean? Like, stick to the script that you wrote, pardon me, illiterate, CPS education. But you stick to your guns. Stick to your guns about what you're talking about, how you feel. Because at the end of the day, man, we're talking about a whole lot of nothing right now. You know what I mean? Like, I again haven't heard anything from Caleb Williams or his camp. So I don't know. I just wanted to get on here, wanted to get on live for a minute. If you guys were interested in having those same conversations, I think it's an interesting conversation about him not wanting to, be in Chicago, maybe potentially pull an Eli Manning. Haven't seen that happen in a while, but I wouldn't blame him, especially after you look at history's past with Jay Cutler, Rex Grossman, Justin Fields, Mitch Trubisky, Nick Foles, Andy Dalton. I mean, the list goes on. Josh McCown. We can do this all day. Eli actually did do that. He did that with the San Diego Chargers. But with that being said, I appreciate you guys for tuning in. If you guys are new here, smack that follow button because we're coming up right on 16K. We're about 20 followers away. I truly do appreciate all you guys for tuning in. You can check out our interview we did earlier today on Fox Sports Radio on The Divide with my guy, Michael Powers. We had an amazing show interviewing one of my favorite people in all of Philly and all of Chicago, Chaz Franklin of the WNBA and Team USA, and so much more. The man has an amazing list, a 15-year professional career overseas playing professional basketball. Absolutely amazing interview to get a chance to sit down with him. You can check that out on The Divide, Fox Sports The Divide on YouTube. Definitely give them a follow. Definitely show them some love. Until then, I'll check you guys out later. This has been Mike Hughes, a.k.a. The Shy Kid, giving you everything Chicago sports news. Until then, check you guys out later. Be safe. Be lovely. Peace.